on.
There it is.
Time to wake up. Live from the Meta.
I don't like that.
Super Zuck. Or is it Super Suck? It's a Business Pants Friday show here at August 1st Studios featuring analyst whole Matt Moscardi. On today's weekly wrap-up, Zuck tries Meta 2.0. Yay! More women in the bro world. The broosphere? The manosphere. The mansphere?
Manosphere.
And Matt rants about his alma mater. And here's my joke that everyone's already probably said by now. White University. Matt went to White University. Get it?
No.
Now with less brown people. Now featuring less...
It's not even a joke.
I'm only bringing this up because you mentioned brown a week or two ago.
Last week.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFloatAnalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free. Although here are three things it doesn't do. It doesn't give me coffee because I'm kind of falling asleep. It doesn't give me water because I feel dehydrated. And it doesn't serve as any kind of a urinal because I have to go to the bathroom. So at those three things, it fails miserably.
It's true, and I have written a complaint to them about not addressing those.
You ready?
things.
You ready for some action?
I don't know.
Let's get rid of this banter. Let's move beyond the stupid banter and these stupid urinal jokes. They're terrible.
Here we go. No.
What is this music? What is this
I don't
officially
know, it's the
called?
Music. It peps me up every time. Who cares?
I don't know. This was a weird week for stories, to tell you that. I guess although we're almost entering the dog days of summer, so maybe no one's doing anything interesting. But I'm going to start off with the story that I foreshadowed in the opening. Mark Zuckerberg just shared his vision for personal superintelligence.
Personal superintelligence. So not someone else's superintelligence. It's yours.
I don't know what's going on with Mark, but here's the quote I like the most. But perhaps even more important is that superintelligence. I love that this guy has such an ego that he's creating a superintelligence. Intelligence is not enough for him.
No. Just
super
regular
intelligence
is boring. Yeah.
Almost like he was reading comic books and he decided to come up with a new business endeavor. Perhaps even more important is that superintelligence has the potential to begin a new era of personal empowerment where people will have greater agency to improve the world in the directions they choose. Mark, why don't you? What are you waiting for? I mean, there were like other articles this week about the hundreds of acres he owns on Hawaii with bunkers and tunnels. Yeah. And when is he going to start using his billions of dollars to improve the world? When are we doing that?
Yeah. Also, quick question. Is it improving the world when his solution to the fact that people no longer have friends because of his other pieces of his business was to make AI friends for them? Super intelligent personal AI friends.
Here are two other headlines about this that I enjoyed that helped describe the story. Mark Zuckerberg is pouring billions of dollars into AI superintelligence. So why does his Instagram pitch feel so underwhelming? And then Mark Zuckerberg looks like he's been taken hostage as he explains plan for deploying AI superintelligence.
Look, it's like his pitch is not super intelligent. Superintelligence does not mean super communication, nor does it mean super sartorial choices. So this is much more specific than that. Are they going to rebrand Meta now? Because
Meta seems so old-fashioned now.
It's like that's so 2022. Like,
what do they call it? Just like super smart,
like
mega smart.
Because all he does is pivot to whatever the thing everyone else is doing is anyway.
Double brain power smart.
Do we think? I know there was a period where everyone thought Mark Zuckerberg was like Steve Jobsian, right? Like that.
Sure.
Like, do we think that at all anymore? Doesn't he just seem like a middle schooler, like chasing the dreams of? The one thing not that good.
Yeah, the one thing you have to give him credit for is he control like three of the top 5 biggest social media sites in the world with the users wise, like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. I mean, that he's good at.
2 of which he bought, and the one that he stole from the Winklevoss twins
still,
is the worst one.
In 2025, maybe that's Steve Jobsian. He just controls social media. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I'm not sure. We love to look at like these billionaire tech bros and say like they're super successful. I'm not sure he's that good. I'm not sure he's that good.
Well,
like,
who is good is me.
When was the last time he had a new idea?
I'm the good one because I did call this. One of my predictions this year, this is the year of Zuck. So maybe he's going to finally land on something. Maybe Meta 2.0 is the winner.
I don't like this.
Next big story. This is like a good nerdy governance story for us. Wells Fargo board to appoint CEO Charles Scharf as chair and grant him a $30 million award.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because what is this?
First of all, that's all hogwash. I mean, it's not the board. I mean, clearly he made this decision somehow. I don't know. I mean, he just told them what to do. I mean, right? I mean, they're just listening to him. Okay, can we get into the special CEO equity award? I don't understand this one. I looked very closely at the AK filing that they filed with the SEC. It says he's getting a one-time equity award consisting of restricted share rights with a grant date value of approximately $30 million, right? And then it says, and 1.046 million stock options. So how do you read this? Is he getting a $30 million stock award and options?
That and is very confusing because I'm looking at the 8K.
Yeah, and I couldn't find the value of that stock award. I did find in an exhibit, though, that there already is an exercise price established for those options of $82. So he's really getting way more than $30 million, right?
Well, the restricted share rights, is that the right to buy 1.046 million stock options?
It says and, though. I don't really...
I know. This is what's confusing to me. What was the price you found?
$82.65, yeah.
So simple math would suggest that the grant date fair value of the options is 82 million, right? Like
sure.
Roughly. Which means the grant date value of 30 million can't be the same thing.
Yeah, he's not getting only 30 million. I don't believe that. I mean, Starbucks dude, Brian Nichols he gets like 100 million. Everyone's getting these massive retention awards. 30 million seems small. And just to be clear, he already made $30 million last year, including $20 million in equity. So I don't know. I don't know why.
And just to be clear, the stock is trading at $78 right now, right? Like, so you're not talking about the stock has to go up by less than 10% for those options to be worth something. He gets options and a $30 million award of some kind so the math, I don't know. That's quite an and. That's the best
here's another
use of I've seen in a while.
Here's another and, which you really don't see very often. The board also approved an amendment to the company's bylaws. This is even without shareholder input. The amendments remove the requirement that the chair of the board be an independent director. They had it codified that the chair had to be independent, and they're just like, screw it. They're also going to add a lead independent director, but they're not even telling us who that is, which I don't get because they already have an independent chair named Steve Black. They're not automatically calling him the lead director, so I don't really know what's going on there. And the other thing I learned about Steve Black was that he was appointed to the Bank of New York Mellon board when Charles Scharf was the CEO and chair of the Bank of New York and Mellon. So there's a bromance right there. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know why they're when you play checkers and you get to the back row and then you get you're like king, you get like a double checker.
Yeah,
I think they just made Charles a double checker. Is that what they just did?
Now we can double checker.
Now we can jump over all the Wells Fargo customers and employees in any direction he wants. He can just kill you anywhere he wants. Because now he's richer, he's more powerful. The whole thing is stupid to me.
I mean, so when the investor vote comes in, because none of this is subject to an investor vote,
which is crazy.
How is this not subject to an investor vote?
How do you amend the bylaws just because you're bored? I don't really get that.
I get when you amend the bylaws to like, do something like, increase the coffee allotment during an annual meeting or like, you need an extra everything bagel because,
extra everything. Yeah. Double bagel.
Yeah, like a double everything
super
bagel.
intelligence bagel. Yeah.
Stephen Black really likes everything seasoning, right?
The dudes. Go ahead.
I don't understand how you can literally strip independence off the board as an amendment to the bylaws.
Yeah.
Like the board itself sits down and says, let's give this guy who we're all connected to, because it's one of them. It's a super connected board. Most of these people sit on like 3 or 4 other boards, and they all know Charlie Scharf through those other boards or trade associations, all different ways. It's all in the data. But they sit down together in a room and they're like, what would be a good idea? If we gave the guy we all know more money and us less power. We should do that.
And let's be clear. I want to be clear. These first two stories are connected. In the tech world, they do things like superintelligence and they already control the company and shares and voting power. And then like in the banking world, they get just sudden grants of more money and they get more power. Like all what's happening is the same, is that CEOs are just increasing their wealth and power because there are no checks anymore. There's no, right? There's no checks and balance to their power. It's just sort of out of control. The proxy statement, that's the time of the year where you make you make changes to the board, where you maybe ask shareholders if the CEO can be the chair. That's when you decide to grant him an additional $30 million in equity. And you asked the shareholders if that's okay. They're just doing this after the shareholder meetings, now, whenever they want. This reminds me of all the companies that are adding directors right after the meeting. They're just whatever. I mean, Zuck can be super smart. Why can't I be super rich and super powerful?
Was it not working before?
$30 million a year? It seems pretty good.
The board, like the way so you made a dramatic change to the dynamic in the boardroom, which is to install the CEO who already has information asymmetry, given what they know about the company.
Of course, yeah, he's already on the board. That's true. Let's not forget he's already on the board.
On the board,
yeah.
And what you did was make him the head of the board.
He now controls the agenda,
He now is the head of himself because the board is his boss, right?
Yeah.
Was it not working? The stock was up 220% in the last 5 years.
Well, maybe it wasn't working because
Which part wasn't working?
He didn't get an extra $30 million and $1 million of stock options, so it wasn't working for him.
Investor,
oh wait, he did get that.
If you're an investor, what is the reasoning behind this? Like,
I don't know.
This was working totally fine for you.
Vote no on all this.
There's nothing to vote no on. The board voted.
Okay, but
vote no on every board
member. You will
be
allowed to vote on the directors next year and the pay. I mean, this is, again, it all reminds me of what Trump is doing. It's just like unfettered executive control. It's just like executive branch gone crazy everywhere. The 0.001 percenters are just running amok. All right, can I move on?
Yeah, please.
I don't care what else you have to say about that. The third story, weird story, but I'm going to cover it because it involves some of the companies that we cover. The headline is Wall Street returns to work after Manhattan shooting that killed Blackstone executive. Now, here's why I was drawn to the story. It's a strange story because on Reddit, they're already, and I'm not saying that Reddit knows what's going on. Reddit is just social media, but they're spinning this as that the guy was really coming after the Blackstone executive. Her name is Wesley LePatner. They're saying this is another story that's kind of like the United Healthcare story, but I'm not seeing any evidence of that. The story that we were told is that this is a former football player who was angry at the NFL, who also had offices in that building, because he had experienced the brain injury called CTE and he had gone crazy. Now, the thing that immediately was remarkable to me about this story is that how does the NFL get away with all this CTE crap? I just don't really get it anymore. Like, they have brushed this under the rug in such a... I mean, I can't tell you how many times I see headlines of like, former great NFL athletes like dying when they're 47. And I mean, there's a significant issue going on here with this CTE stuff. And I know that this one event does not necessarily it's not necessarily a breaking point. It's not all of the research on the issue. Not everyone becomes a homicidal killer, but I don't know. I just don't know how the NFL continues to skirt this CTE story, despite all the documentaries and everything else.
I stopped watching the NFL for a long time.
Because Tom Brady retired and the Patriots suck. That's why you stopped.
No, I stopped. The CTE thing is a real thing. Like it's
scary.
It's hard to watch.
Scary.
Grown men play a children's game in which they give themselves like brain damage. Like I don't understand that conceptually.
I guess it's a voluntary sacrifice. They're making their bodies because they do know about it now.
Now they know. Now people know, and now it's discussed. And there's a part of me that's like, right now, like the civil rights of people in this country are fundamentally being stripped. We are bowing to dictators. We are like, I guess the last thing on my mind is whether or not men playing a boys' game were fully informed about the brain damage they're going to get by hitting each other over and over and over again. It seems like, okay, you guys want to do that, fine. You're going to make millions of dollars off of it. The league's going to make billions. You're going to be like a new version of, like billionaires basically horse trading you. White billionaires mostly trading black men, right? Like we want to do that still. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know how to feel about it.
What would have happened to this story? Okay, so where this is like United Healthcare is not only did it happen in Manhattan, but he was targeting the NFL, which is a business. How would we be telling the story today if he actually had say gotten like Roger Goodell or someone as high up as happened at United Healthcare, right? Then there'd be an incredible amount of attention on CTE. But because he missed his targets and he only got, some security people and a Blackstone executive, no one seems to really care. Isn't it?
I mean, he's just
strange.
Shooting whoever was in the way, right?
Like, I mean, again, I don't advocate violence here, but anyway, that's the big story. Although the other thing that I was going to talk about, I didn't really know how to talk about, there's also a report that the NFL itself is going to acquire, they're buying 10% of ownership into ESPN, which struck me as odd too. When we're talking about executive power here, so the league now is starting to control it. First of all, it has its own media, NFL.com, is that what it's called? And now it's acquiring a stake in ESPN. It's becoming more and more like the WWF. It's just weird. I don't know. Controlling your own media, I don't know. That's just a strange feeling to me. I don't know.
The real question is, what is ESPN? ESPN is like part journalism, part
entertainment.
And
now part maybe betting. I mean, ESPN, its biggest owner is and this is the reason why I bring this up, why it's relevant to us if people are wondering. Disney owns 80% of ESPN. So when we talk about the Disney board, normally we're talking about parks, movies, but ESPN is a big part of that. So it's worth discussing that. I just find it interesting that NFL controlling its own media source is just fascinating to me. But anyway, that's whatever. I know you don't want to talk about this.
I don't really.
Okay, let's move on. The fourth story of the week, just to tweak Matt, is this. Woke, here's the headline. Woke is officially dead at Brown, Trump says, after Ivy League school settles with federal government.
I'm going to come back to this.
It's officially dead. That's good, right? But that's cool. Officially dead.
I hate it.
It's terrible. It's terrible. All right, let's vote.
So my options here are...
These are not great options.
No, they're not. But personal superintelligence
what did I
by
do
Zuck.
Superintelligence.
Wells Fargo.
Super intelligence.
CEO Scharf. I like that they appoint CEO Scharf as chairman and grant him the award. They don't mention that he was on the board already.
Well, they never mentioned stuff
him
like that. Yeah.
On the board to the best board spot.
Like everybody wasn't already looking to him for every question raised in that boardroom. They were all the first person they were looking at always was Charles Scharf, right? I mean,
they also appear to have by the amendments they removed the need for a lead independent director. Basically, like they no longer have to have one. So that's a nice change. And then Wall Street, the shootings in Manhattan, Blackstone, NFL, and finally Brown University, which we'll come back to. It's Wells Fargo. It's Wells Fargo all day long.
Unfettered executive power.
It is basically like another week, another executive gets a massive retention
Nobody
bonus
notices.
for no clear new reason.
No performance hurdles.
No performance hurdles, no nothing. And in this case,
Zero reason.
Not only did they just pay the man, they actually said, you can also be your own boss. Oh, and by the way, we're going to remove all restrictions and counter, to your bossness. No lead independent directors. No, what are we doing?
Well, this is where I like the data at freeflowanalytics.com, because not only does it rightfully call Charles Scharf the most powerful member of the board with 20% influence, it also has determined that the chair, Stephen Black, is actually the fourth most powerful, fourth most influential, which is showing you that no one was paying attention to the chair in the first place. But the second highest influence is the chair of the compensation committee, Ron Sargent.
Yeah,
which I kind of like that. I don't know. I kind of like that overlap there because
it makes sense.
Right. He's taking care of Charles. That's his job, to take care of Charles. All right.
Okay. I don't like any of those.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
My story.
Play your music.
Let's go. Goodliest.
These are kind of. We have two sort of old-fashioned goodliest stories here. They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not. They're good. They're goodliest.
Sure. Mine's kind of. I don't know if mine is. Sort of.
But it was a struggle to find more than two. It's really hard.
It is.
God, I challenge you, listeners. Go out and find a headline where you just read the headline. You're like, that makes me feel good. Like, try it. Go ahead. You do yours
Women
first.
now occupy almost a fifth of top venture roles. The share of women, this is in partner roles and above, that's doubled since 2018 to 19%. Now look,
I know you know what I'm going to say.
I mean, a victory is a victory, I guess, but it's like of all places, that whole venture capitalist world. I don't know. It's propping
It has
up,
not gotten less broy as a result.
but just the whole idea of like the one that's making me upset recently is companies like OpenAI, where they're not making any money, right, and they're losing money, and yet the VC world is just propping them up. For what? Just to enrich themselves, because the verdict is not out whether it's going to destroy humanity or not. All the CEOs of AI companies are worried that AI might destroy the universe, but still the VC world is just pumping billions of dollars into these guys. But that's just one example of why the VC world scares me. But
I'm
at
pretty
least
sure it's not going to stop because they're now 19% women.
And I know that, but look, we talk a lot about data here. We talk a lot about women in leadership, and it's something kind of good. I mean, it's an improvement. Maybe if it keeps. Okay, let me do the math here. Let me do the simple populist math. If we keep doubling, then we'll be up to 76% of the VC world will be controlled by women in only 14 years. Do you think that math's going to hold up?
I guaranteed. That's a guarantee. Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
All right. Mine is very old school. The headline was "Shame on them. Standard Chartered CEO decries banks that drop climate pledges."
Wow, this is the first. This is like the first. Is it the first one? This is the first.
I have not
bank
heard.
CEO?
I picked this because first of all, back in the day at the mothership, and I'm talking 15 years ago at this point, when Standard Chartered was one of the companies that I had to analyze. It was always a top-rated company for MSCI ESG ratings, to the extent that anyone cares about those or looks at them anymore. But it was a top-rated company, largely because of its climate initiatives. The CEO in question here is Bill Winters. They don't name him in the headline, obviously, but they do name him in the article. And he criticized banks that had jumped on the climate bandwagon when it was cool.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, fashionable. and then rolled it back. And he just said, shame on them.
How do you
He
roll
didn't name individual names?
How do you roll that one back? I understand rolling back things like maybe like fizzy drinks or putting raspberries on everything. How do you roll back fighting the climate crisis? Why does one jump off that bandwagon?
I don't know. Not only how you roll that back,
just in case. Why don't you just stay on that bandwagon just in case?
I don't know why you roll that back.
There's a lot of money to be made in it, as Texas knows.
Well, I'm going to get to that during my assholiest, right? But like the whole thing is bananas. It's just what it's nice is that there's one CEO somewhere who's saying, hey, shitbirds, you don't have, like, shame on you. You made a commitment. In fact, one of the things that we found when we did a research project for one of our clients last fall was that at the time, this is pre-Trump administration taking office, which feels like 100 years ago now, we were looking at boards that flipped on DEI. They made DEI commitments and then they flipped on them. We found those same boards
weird one to flip on, yeah.
We found those boards were 4 times as likely to flip on carbon targets, and they were twice as likely to restate financials. Those same boards. Yeah. The point here is when you make a commitment, whether it's voluntary or not, if you're willing to flip on it and just say, well, whatever, we're rolling that one back because there's no accountability for it anyway. We don't really care. That tells you something about the character of that board.
As an investor, I'd be scared, yeah.
I'd be horrified.
Yeah.
And this guy is calling them out, saying like, you made a commitment. Shame on you.
By the way, speaking of that, there is a director on the board of Wells Fargo named Richard Shitbird. Did you know that?
Is he new? Is he a new addition? Yeah, I did not see that in the 8K.
All right, so good for Bill Winters.
So I like that. That. What so?
I'm going to give yours a win.
Yeah, I think that's the correct win.
I mean, I like, again, I promote women in leadership any chance I can to everyone. Everyone's sick of me saying it, but I do like a CEO saying anything these days. Everyone's afraid.
Well, I like progress, but we're still talking about 19%, right? So I'm excited for it to get to 50 where it belongs.
Yeah.
All right, let's do assholiest.
Well, 51, that's where it belongs. 51.
I'll settle for 54.
Here we go. Don't depress me.
It's going to happen. My first asshole is Brown University.
Yeah,
I said
go ahead.
Last week.
Yeah, go ahead.
If Brown University, I don't remember exactly the words I said.
If they kiss the ring.
If they kiss the ring,
you're not going to donate anymore. You're not going to give them.
I'm not donating anymore. I'm out. Do not kiss the ring. And what did they do? They kissed the ring.
Yeah.
They paid $50 million to settle with the Trump administration. Now, that money doesn't go to the Trump administration. That actually goes...
It's more symbolic, if anything.
It's like they're paying for Rhode Island housing development or something.
Yeah, which they should already be doing. But yeah, go ahead.
We are talking about pure extortion. So the Trump administration was investigating them for anti-Semitism and not protecting students, and they were investigating them using like 3 different departments.
Highly ironic, considering probably the safest place for Jews in the world is at an American university. Especially on the East Coast. That's probably the safest place for a Jewish person to be.
At Brown University, when I was there were like 45 like Jewish centers and there's all sorts. They've been focused on that sort of thing for a long time.
The two things that
now, what do I know?
The 2 things that Trump attacks the most, which is the media and the universities, those are the places where Jewish people have thrived for 100 years in this country.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that Jewish people. There's not anti-Semitism on college campuses.
There's anti-Semitism at 7-Eleven. There's anti-Semitism on the moon.
Everywhere.
It's under a rock. It's everywhere.
But here is my big problem with it. Number one, that Trump gets to go on Truth Social and say woke is dead at Brown University.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah, okay.
First of all, it's a fucking lie and it's stupid.
Define woke. What are we defining woke as again? But
second of all, Brown, do you honestly think because you settled this, they're done with you? You did it to restore federal funding. They
How
got
much-
$500
do we
million.
know how much? $500 million.
Yeah, it was about $500 million in federal funding that they did to
I
restore
bet they
for
could have
research.
raised that and taken a little bit from their endowment to cover that.
Do you think you're getting that money for real? Do you think that they're not going to come back and say something else
That's
because
true.
you kissed the ring this
Yeah.
time? Like, you've just proven that because you were willing to make a bargain, that you are willing to fold. And this is what really got me. Here's a quote from the article, and I believe this article is the AP article. Brown will adopt the government's definition of male and female, for
Right.
example, and must remove any consideration of race from the admissions process. So what they actually agreed to was for Title IX compliance now, because Trump controls Title IX, and for women and men to play sports, you have to only play in the sport of your gender at birth. Not so effectively, Brown has agreed to discriminate against trans people in sports.
At a place where sports is not even important.
Not only is sports not super important, it is D1, but not only is it
Yeah,
not
but come
super
on.
important.
I mean, we're talking about games here, people.
But you're talking about Brown, where like
university.
queer identity is almost baked in to Brown.
Well,
I was there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems that this world has with all the universities and colleges. Is that queer
This is
identity
what-
thrives at all these places.
This is what Carolyn Levitt had to say, Trump's
Who is-
press
okay,
secretary.
okay.
Brown will no longer perform gender reassignment surgeries on minors or prescribe them puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones, Levitt added,
Wait,
calling it chemical castration of children.
Did Brown agree with that statement? They agree to that?
This is the problem.
Yeah.
You apparently
They
what
actually
she's
made a
saying,
change to their medical practices.
Like they don't. Brown doesn't do gender reassignment,
not-
surgery, but
not
Brown
in their-
has a medical school,
Yeah.
and they're affiliated
Right.
with like the hospitals and medical institutions. But it's unclear whether or not they basically agreed to never deal with trans
yeah,
kids.
it's not clear. Or maybe
like,
this is just political theater, right?
it's just, but you have given them the talking point. Know
don't-
what they're out there saying? We
Yeah.
fucked up Brown University, the most liberal college in this country. We can fuck them all up.
I don't get why you can't just sue back and just pray that in 2028 a more favorable president comes along. Why can't you hold this up in court?
I don't know why you don't. I get that there's like students and staff who are depending on that research. I get that like you're like as an institution you're trying to balance like.
But if it's
we
being
just
held
need
up
to
in
get
court,
through this.
Wouldn't they have to release those funds until it's decided? Or does it not work that way?
It's what's happening everywhere else.
Right.
But Brown would have to fight it. And the cost of fighting it's going to be more than that settlement was, right?
Yeah.
I get that they're making an economic decision. But you have to stop
At a
making
university,
economic decisions.
I don't get it at a university.
You have to stop
Yeah.
thinking of this as
I don't-
economic decisions.
yeah.
And you have to start thinking about it as fighting back against an autocrat and a dictator who's trying to tell you and use you and stomp on you.
Yeah, I get it.
Like-
I get it at Meta platforms and Starbucks. I don't get it at a university to make those
I don't
economic
get it
decisions. Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
This
Well-
is your right,
All right.
as a university. What are you fucking doing? And it's not just the university. It's the way all management thinking is happening right
Yeah.
now, which is just settle now, pay off. It's CBS, Paramount. It's doing the same thing. Just pay it off and make the merger and we'll go do our thing. It's like everyone is paying.
Yeah.
In fact, Trump's like presidential library is effectively a giant extortion ring where he's now got his own Air Force One. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars for a guy who doesn't read. What the fuck's in the library? He doesn't this is you are paying a dictator. You are paying a tyrant. And what you've taught everyone else is that if they act the same way, they can extort you also. That's what you're teaching them.
What makes me doubly sad is Brown University knows full well, its faculty, its history of research knows full well why we consider race in admissions in America, in the United States of America, why it's so important.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like they have all of the all of the research, all of the knowledge of our history to understand why it's important. Because when we're talking about race, we're talking about black people. Let's be honest. This is the United States of America. They know full well why. So to just look the other way on that issue, I mean, the whole definition of male and female has become something that we've talked about in the last 10 years, and I think it's important too. I think it's important, but the other thing, the race in admissions, I mean, God, that is just so depressing to me to turn your back on that stuff. Just so depressing. Forget what the Supreme Court decides on that. Just forget it.
I mean, they're captured too, but
all right, come on.
Here is where.
On.
Before I move on,
I'll
leave you with this last tidbit of knowledge. Why it matters. Do you want to know who the Chancellor of Brown's trustees are?
Yes.
Brian Moynihan, the CEO of Bank of America.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Okay.
This is where our worlds overlap.
Yeah. That's not a good overlap. It's an overlap I don't like.
These universities, the trustees of the universities, inevitably are CEOs of major corporations.
That's not good.
The thinking that they have is not thinking about the academic outcomes or the student safety,
faculty and the
or
students.
The faculty. Yeah. They're not researchers.
That's all it should be.
They don't care.
That's all it should be. Faculty and students.
They only think about the money and their experience. Get the fuck out with that, right?
Yeah.
Like this should be an independent thinking organization. Brian Moynihan. You shouldn't be sitting with Christina Paxson, the president of Brown, and making deals with the Trump administration because it's expedient.
It's also, I mean, I should take this a step further. It's not even just the faculty and the students. It's also like a FU to all the staff of Brown, all the people from the Providence area. They're turning their backs on them too. I mean, they didn't sign up for this for them to bend the knee to Trump.
The Brown Daily Herald, which is like the student newspaper, is like full of students being like, we're glad that this is over. This will strengthen Brown. We maintained our academic freedom. And it's like, you guys don't see the forest for the trees.
Well, that's always fuck
you up.
Yeah,
6
but the
months
student, the student newspaper,
where's
every
the
college, the one that's like okayed by the university is always the one that sucks. They're always
where
kissing
is the
university
anger?
ass. All right.
Next.
Just do me a favor. Re-enroll in Brown and go and like yell at somebody.
Just where's the anger? Just get fucking angry.
No, you. I want you to go back to Brown as a student and then like yell at somebody. I don't want to talk about that. Move on. Come on.
Would love
Speed
that.
it up. Come on.
All right. Number 2, Barclays.
Okay.
On the back of Standard Chartered Bill Winter saying shame on you. Here are 2 back-to-back headlines, literally yesterday and this morning. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, Barclays reports $500 million in sustainable finance revenues. In a report they released yesterday, it was a 44-page report extolling the amazing virtues and all the money they're making doing sustainable finance.
I love money.
Lots of money. Now, it's a $34 billion revenue company, so we're not talking about like it's like a vast bulk of what they make, but it's $500 million, and it's across multiple arms of what they do. Yeah. This morning, the headline is Barclays' latest British lender to quit climate banking alliance. This is their quote. After consideration, we have decided to withdraw from the net zero banking alliance. With the departure of most of the global banks, the organization no longer has the membership to support our transition. They said they left because all the other banks left and they don't have any friends to help them anymore. God. That was their fucking stupid excuse. You guys are making money on this. I don't understand what you're changing. Like, I know you're worried about like some sort of fake antitrust collusion. It's not a real thing. It's not real. If you fought that, because you could fight back and say every trade organization is collusion. Every single one. Like your manufacturers trade, like they're just colluding.
That's true.
Like, so what is the difference with this? You are following science and you're dropping out of these organizations who are designed to actually help you follow science.
That's the troubling part of this. Yeah, you should be following science, not the political headwinds.
Unbelievable.
All right, what else you got?
Number
Brown,
3.
Barclays. Yeah, number 3.
Microsoft.
Again? Didn't we already cover... What are the enigma of success? Is that what it was?
Satya Nadella wrote a memo last week about the enigma of success.
It's funny how the enigma of success can literally be counted in market cap value. It's really simple.
Well, so he put out that that memo, and then
Then
on Wednesday
fired a
of
bunch of
this
people.
week,
Yeah.
and they fired a bunch of people. That was the memo. He said, like, we know we're, like our trajectory's upward to the right, and we're doing amazing work. But this is the enigma of success. On Wednesday of this week,
Yeah.
Microsoft announced one of the most profitable quarters it's ever had in its
Great
history.
timing. Good timing, Microsoft. Yeah.
So everybody should feel better about the memo. But then today, here's the headline, or yesterday, Microsoft's CFO calls for intensity, air quotes, in an internal memo after blowout earnings.
What does that mean?
Chief
What does that
Financial
even
Officer
mean?
Amy Hood, she
Yeah.
sent an email to all the employees on Wednesday. This was a $27 billion profit for the quarter. $27 billion.
Jesus.
So Barclays made $34 billion last year. Microsoft made $27 billion this quarter.
Yeah.
She told them the year ahead would require, quote, intensity, clarity, and bold execution. So what we've got is the adult in the room, which was supposed to be Microsoft, because all of these little middle school man-baby tech bros like Zuck and Sergey and Larry and Musk, they're all like cutting all their staff, and they're doing all the AI stuff, and they're getting into growth mindset, whatever the hell that is. Microsoft just joined them in a race to the bottom, in which you cut as much staff as you possibly can. Executives all keep their jobs. The stock price goes up. They all make shit tons of money. And they gut as much of middle management as they possibly can.
You know what's crazy?
And tell them, get into growth mindset to anybody who's left.
Just to put this into populist math terms, because I have a populist math calculator that I use for things like this, for stories like this.
It's like a TI populist.
The enigma of leadership, Satya Nadella has already laid off 15,000 people this year. People that he said that basically have helped to build Microsoft into the great company it is. You could give them all another $1 million in severance today with that profit and still have $12 billion left over in quarterly profit.
Yeah, it's a lot of billions.
You still have $12 billion left over.
It's a lot.
Because you should be paying these people huge severance packages. Huge.
Well, CFO Amy Hood, who is not worried about losing her job at Microsoft, clearly, also already has a board position at 3M. So she's already got a job in which she's going to have money for the rest of her life. She'll never get fired. It's not a problem.
You think she's super intense on that board? You think she has intensity there?
I'm sure she's super intense at 3M. Where everything's intense, making like stickers, sticky notes. Not for nothing, a different Amy Coleman, got the role of Chief People Officer at Microsoft in March of this year, just in time to fire everybody.
Oh, is that right? Is that when the first layoff started?
The layoff started effectively around May. So
because it was 6,000 and then 9,000. Yeah.
I looked for the announcement of her getting the role. Chief People Officer is one of the named executive officers in the 10K.
Typically,
right?
Yeah.
So when you're as an NEO, they usually have to file an 8K and disclose your contract details and that you were promoted and all that stuff. There was none of that. I could not find any of that. She managed to cash in $24 million of options in the last 3 months.
Wow.
And that's all Form 4s that I can tell.
Damn.
And I am curious about the enigma of disclosure.
Yeah.
Why do we not know anything about, was she effectively brought in to fire everyone and paid for it?
What I'm focused on is the enigma of intensity. What does that mean, intensity? What is
There's
that?
a lot of
what does
enigmas,
she want?
is my
What does
point.
she want? What does Amy Hood want the workers to? What is the quantification of intensity? Are we working like more hours? Like what are we doing?
I think they have to talk 4 decibels higher than they currly talk.
It reminds
at
me
every
of George Costanza when he was working for the Yankees on Seinfeld, and he said by every time his boss would walk by, he'd just act angry, and it made it look like he was working really hard.
busy. Yeah.
So that maybe that's what he wants people to do. Yeah, sighing and anger. That's intensity.
There's one scene where somebody comes over and goes to ask him a question, and he just looks up and he's like, "What?"
Right. That's
and
what
they're
Amy
like,
Hood
"Oh,
needs.
he must be busy," and they walk away. I'm excited for that as
What
the
a
culture
joke.
of Microsoft.
What a joke. What else you got?
The
One
last
more. Come
one,
on.
number
Come on.
4, and this
we're
one's
slowing
quick.
down. We're slowing down.
Cowering employees.
Cowering?
Cowering. I am tired of there's a
Yeah.
general theme here. I am tired of cowering. I don't know why
Wait,
everyone's
so you're
kissing every
cowering.
fucking
You're
ring.
cowering on cowering?
No, but here's the headline I saw. 37% of employees have wondered if emojis are professional.
Okay, wait. I saw that headline. 37% of employees have wondered if emojis are professional. Matt, does this mean that 63% of employees think that they are professional, or they think that they're not? What do you think the rest of that 63%?
They're not wondering if they're
not
professional.
wondering. So let me.
They
Are they?
know.
They know they are professional, or no,
No,
they're
they
not
know
professional.
one way or the other.
they know
It
one
doesn't-
way or the other.
Really,
that's who I
it's-
want to talk to. I want to talk to the 63%. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's what I took away, though. It's 2025. Your employees are worried about whether or not emojis are professional.
Yeah, nobody cares
I s-
anymore. Everyone uses emojis. Doesn't
I
matter.
saw this headline. A Walmart executive said that, quote, "Nobody will want to hire you if you're a Debbie Downer." So
Oh.
despite the fact that wages haven't increased in 50 years,
Wait.
you have to worry whether you're
Wait.
too Debbie Downer.
Wait,
Don't
we're talking about the country that elected a president who all he did was whine about how America sucks.
how it's the worst. His
Everything
slogan
sucks.
is "Make it great again" because it sucks
everything is like a
currently.
third world country. We're eating dogs. So that's the biggest Debbie Downer
The Walmart,
ever. Yeah.
the Walmart executive saying nobody wants to hire you if you're a Debbie Downer. We found out this week that the reason why people won't buy the best governance data on
Oh, right.
Earth
Yeah, we are good
is
Debbie Downers. Yeah,
is
you're right.
because we have a segment on a podcast called Assholiest. There's too
Yeah.
much. Meanwhile, this headline: Elon Musk amplifies bizarre claim that women are built to be traded.
Yeah, I didn't like
And
that one. That was in my I have that
CEO
later.
brags that he gets extremely excited firing people and replacing them with AI.
Yeah.
Every single week, we get headlines about Jamie Dimon says something, like employees need to shut up. Sam Altman is terrified the world is falling apart. Your employees are worried about the dumbest things possible, whether or not you can use an emoji in an email, and everybody else is taking your money. Stop worrying. Stop cowering about emojis and worrying about that shit.
I read years ago that one of the reasons why corporations let their employees do things like fantasy sports and check their Facebook page is that they're happy with that distraction as long as the employees are not talking to their neighbors about unionizing.
Right.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
real.
that's one of the things. They want them to be busy with inanity over actually focusing on maybe some of the important things that could help them.
And that's exactly right. Look up from the emoji that you're thinking about. Do I add this melty face or do I not? Is that professional? Are they going to think I'm a jerk or not? Will it get me that promotion or not? They are using your jobs as a cudgel because they're going to fire you anyway.
Yeah, because if they had unionized at places like Microsoft, they would not have been laid off this year.
So here's what I'm proposing. It is a time for a rise of counterculture again. You need to start being like, fuck you, we're doing it our way.
More zines. That's what we want, more zines.
I want more zines.
Yeah.
I want more underground
More
music,
Riot Girls.
not Spotify.
Yeah.
I want more like
Riot
there
Girls,
needs to be-
Fugazi, zines.
Remember what it was. And I'm
Yeah.
talking to you, Gen X. Remember what it was when you were squeezed between boomers and millennials. No one cared about you and you had to build your own shit.
Speaking of Gen X, I was thinking about, Fugazi was this band, but big Gen X band that famously held their ticket prices. They had a cap on their ticket prices to all shows. It was I don't know what it was, $8. I went to a few Fugazi shows. They kept it low, right?
Yeah.
Flash forward to 2025 when families are taking out loans to go to Taylor Swift. There's a music festival right down the street from me this weekend. It's a 2-day music festival that costs a couple $100. The beer is it's $17 for an IPA, $12 for a Bud Light. I mean, I think you're right. I think we need to like dial the clock back. We need to like, it's just too much. It's really just too much.
I'm not saying go back to like, when we were racist.
It's too much.
I'm saying rediscover the anger of the underground.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me you can't buy our data because we have a segment that is like
Matt, by the
a
way.
little too charged.
But when you buy the data, put me in the like memo part of the check because I don't have a has holiest.
You're the dude who does populist math.
Yeah,
like
I don't
Wall
do as
Street,
holiest. I don't agree
Wall
with
Street
Matt's
really is
vulgar
into
tongue.
populism. Right?
By the way, I still don't get why MSCI is allowed to turn their data into these opinionated grades, and we can't like. Why? I know Matt's being cheeky saying things are as holiest, but that's just his way of rating a company a D or an F, right? I mean, what's the difference?
There's nothing different about what we're doing. And frankly, the data we've got is more interesting and better. Just go with better. Be
just like Roger Ebert having a thumb down at a movie. It's just Matt's just being coy with the language. That's all.
Gotta restart the underground. So
all right, come on.
Those are my four. I've got Brown, Barclays, Microsoft, and cowering employees. People cowering. I'm tired of it.
That's holiest. I don't. The whole Brown thing. Yeah,
that's really just a me thing.
That's for you. No, it's upsetting for sure. Especially I'm a New Englander. It makes me upset. I gotta go with just in honor of the Standard Chartered CEO Bill Winters, who said shame on you to all these banks. Let's go with Barclays.
Wow, that's like a weird old school one right there. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important to. You're talking about you want people to like stop cowering. We got to call out these things when they happen, right?
Yeah.
Because now you can back out of pledges, you can get rid of DEI, you can do all this stuff, and no one's like,
and no one does anything.
And I know they're angry about it. I know they're. Believe me, if I talk to anyone about this, when I talk to normal people about the subjects we cover, when I tell them this week that we're yelling at CEOs for backing out of climate pledges, that we're yelling at Brown University, who has the CEO of Bank of America on their board, and yet they're cowering to Trump. They join me in the anger against these things. So let's talk about it. Let's not talk about emojis, because emojis are fine. You can use them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you could use the emojis.
People don't care about emojis anymore. All right.
I agree with you. All right, let's wrap up.
Come on.
Headlines, winners, predictions.
I think we're going to be under an hour. I like this. Come on.
Yeah, I got 2 headlines.
I unfortunately have 2 as well. Let me go first.
All right, you go first.
I actually had a double Elon Musk headline. One of them you already mentioned. And I figured this is better than talking a lot about Elon Musk in other parts of the show. I'll just quickly say the headlines and we'll move on. Elon Musk amplifies bizarre claim that women are built to be traded. And it's another headline, Elon Musk pushes view that women are anti-white because they are weak. Now, remember, this is the guy who said that if I get too crazy, the board should fire me. So I'm giving the board permission as of August 1st, 2025, that a man who holds these abhorrent misogynistic views against women, and that is a full majority of the population of the earth. It's a little over 50%, right? A man who holds such disgusting views, and yet while trying to sell cars to men and women, this is a man you should fire. Not to mention that sales are down, that China is beating him on everything anyway. But hey,
you should have
board,
fired him 100 years ago.
He told you when he's crazy to fire him. This is disgusting. Talking about women, amplifying posts on his website that women are built to be traded, that's a fireable offense. That's not appropriate behavior from the CEO of a publicly traded company. It's appropriate conversation at a disgusting maybe country club where it's men only, maybe in Georgia, if that's fine, but it's not the behavior of a CEO.
But he didn't use any emojis when he actually posted.
My other headline is of this is just because it tickles me. U.S. women in coffee. This is like a group, like a trade group or kind of a thing. U.S. women in coffee welcomes Mark Inman to its board of directors. See, even the women are kind enough to have men on their boards. So why can't we go the other way? Why can't we?
I think they just want to trade Mark Inman to some other board. All right, here are my headlines. Tesla robo-taxi gets stuck in infinite loop as support tries to break it out.
Okay, just keep it in the loop.
I just love it. Like it's going around in a circle. I like to think that there's somebody in it.
Yeah.
Like I can't get out of this thing. It's just going around the block.
Sounds terrible.
And Starbucks CEO, the company was mismanaged for a couple years. Here's his
Ouch.
plan to bounce back.
Ooh.
I just
Shots fired.
Yeah, that's when Howard Schultz was the executive chair of the board, right? Like,
He
so
hired Laxman Narasimhan.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you just said the founder and executive chair Howard Schultz sucked at his job.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, who's your winner?
Well, same as you actually. It's and I'll let you if you want to talk about it more. But mine's King Chuck Scharf. Of Wells Fargo.
Charlie Scharf. All right, Chainsaw Charlie. I actually set up a memory reel to remember Charlie Scharf.
Go ahead. We've talked about Charlie Scharf many times on these shows. Many times.
Well, so he in 2016 he was the CEO of Visa. He steps down, and the reason why he stepped down at the time is he said, and this is what he actually said, that he couldn't spend enough time in San Francisco, where Visa is headquartered, to do the job, quote, effectively.
That's weird. Why not just move to San Francisco?
So he's a New Yorker, and he didn't want to move to San Francisco. His family is in New York, and he stepped down from the CEO role because he didn't want to commute to San Francisco.
Isn't it Wells Fargo? I'm pretty sure they have a big building in
Becomes
San
Wells
Francisco?
Fargo's CEO in 2019 and commutes to San Francisco from New York City because Wells Fargo is headquartered in San Francisco.
More money.
Immediately cut staff at Wells Fargo and got the nickname Chainsaw Charlie. When we started talking about him, it was because he was complaining that he couldn't find any black workers because they weren't qualified.
Yeah, this is true, by the way. This is not hyperbole.
No, that's not hyperbole.
This is what he said.
He was earnestly saying, we are looking for more minorities to hire, but we are having a difficulty because they're not qualified.
Yeah, in the sense that he was actually like, he wanted to hire more black. It's not like he was against hiring them. He just couldn't find any qualified
He just couldn't
ones.
find them.
Yeah.
Which is moderately, would you say puzzling or racist? Which would you go with?
I'm going to go with racist on that one.
Okay. And then he joins the board of Microsoft, which, to bring this whole thing full circle, Microsoft cutting everybody. They're chainsaw Charlieing Microsoft while they have record profits. And Scharf is on that board for that
still
too.
on that board. Yeah, he's
so it's all coming up Charlie as he's now chair and made $30 million plus $1 million in options for nothing.
According to freeflowanalytics.com, Charles Scharf has the second highest influence on that board at Microsoft.
He would. He's a very connected dude. All right, predictions.
As part of its 10% ownership of ESPN, the Disney, because the Disney controls 80% of ESPN, but as part of its 10% ownership of ESPN, the Disney board is going to refuse to add an NFL player. NFL is going to try to get a player onto the Disney board, but the Disney board is going to agree to attend all board meetings wearing spandex and shoulder pads.
I don't know I don't know if that's
going to happen. It's going to happen.
My prediction is going to come true.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wells Fargo's investors are going to be unhappy that Scharf was made chair and he got a giant retention grant. They're going to vote 73% approval of Scharf's pay.
Okay.
That's a pretty hefty vote against pay.
Actually, bank investors have been voting no on pay once in a while.
So you're going to see like almost 30% vote
Yeah.
against pay, but 99.6% will be in favor of every member of the pay committee who paid him.
I agree. That prediction will happen.
That prediction will come true. That's all we got. That's Hazelnut Rallis. I'm your analyst, Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. Come back next week when we do more of this to take away from our sales to bring you information that actually matters. Until then, good.